So what did you get out of the rookie camp with your draft picks? I mean, it's not real football, as you know. I mean, so what was your takeaway?
Well, I mean, it's real football. They're out there. They're running around. You get a feel for their personality. You get a feel for what they're used to, you know, as far as position, how they were taught a little bit, and just how they work, right, and what they pick up mentally. So you still get a lot out of it. Obviously, no pads. You don't see the hitting anymore, but this game is about movement nowadays. So they've got to be able to move, and you could still kind of judge that with mini camp or phase 2 when we're on the field doing individual. But I'm excited. I'm excited to work with everybody. But there's some really cool things that these guys are doing.
With guys like Zach, Tom, and Sean, how do you try and take advantage of their versatility without trying to stretch them too thin?
That's a great question. You know, as a young guy, you come in and you don't know really where they're at mentally. Now, you've talked to them, you've kind of know a little bit about what they've been taught offensively, but it's usually a big jump coming to this level. You want to see how flexible they are by playing different positions, but like you said, they've got a lot on their plate. We like to cross-train, play different positions. So you try to be coherent of that, you know that, but at the same time, at a position where they're at in the time of their career, they've got to be able to do multiple things.
Hey, Luke, looking into Zach a little bit too, I mean, obviously with playing center and then he kicked out with the left tackle stuff too, what do you think it was about his skill set that allowed him to do it the way he did it, you know, when you look back at his time at Wake Forest?
You know, one of the big things that, you know, that when we watched Zach, you know, was that game versus Florida State and blocking the defensive end that they had that was highly rated and did a great job. How did he do it? You know, he's competitive, he's smart, and he's athletic. He can move, he can bend. So all three of those things we look for in our offensive linemen, and that's how he did it. But I mean, you got to have grit, you got to have the pads on and be able to hit as well, and that's all part of it.
Have you ever coached or been around someone who's 6'9", 370?
Well, 6'9" last year, right? Dennis Kelly.
That's true.
No, Caleb is a big human being, and you know, funny story is that we recruited him at the University of Illinois, and he spurned me. So I'm still mad at him. But I did have a dinner at his dad's barbecue restaurant in Indianapolis, so that made up for it.
You mentioned, to my question, you know, seeing how guys move. How does he move? I mean, his workout times, for whatever they're worth, were pretty bad, but he's
a long body, big body, right? You're naturally going to be out leveraged. You're naturally going to maybe be a hair slower, but he's got length. He's athletic for a 6'9", 380-pound guy, and that's stuff you can't teach, right? Being able to punch you from right here, a little different than if you're closer to me, right? Keep space so he doesn't have to get to the quarterback, you know. He's working like everybody. He's swimming like everybody, but we like his traits.
How big was he coming out of high school? Do you remember? Is he
maybe even a little bigger than he is now. As far as wider and not as lean. I guess that's probably not a word you want to use with him, is lean. But yeah, he was big.
With Sean Ryan, he's obviously the opposite as far as the length part of it goes. Everybody talks about arm length. Can he play tackle at this level? And if so, how do you get around the lack of length to play that position?
We're going to find out if he plays tackle or guard. We don't know that yet. It still may. How do you get around anything, right? Your will, you know, your competitiveness. They probably said the same things about a lot of guys. And, you know, David Bakhtiari, right? He's, what is he, 6'3.5", 6'4" maybe, you know? So there's a lot of ways around it. Again, by just playing hard and being determined and, again, having that competitive drive. Tough, smart, and competitive. We talk about it all the time. That's how you get away with not having the traits, so-called traits, right, that you need to play a position.
The other day, Steno mentioned that he's been trying to kind of stay out of your room and just kind of let you do your thing right now as you adjust. I guess, have you noticed that? And if so, what is that doing for you as you step into this role?
Yeah, he's been kind of more with the passing game right now. And I appreciate that, letting me have the room with Ryan Mahaffey and Ramston Gopassion. But I'm in constant communication with him. He's letting me have my voice a little bit. For the last 3 years, there was really one voice, and we were on the same page. But what Steno said is what we did. And now it's kind of the same way. And I'm constantly in his ear, asking him questions. But I do appreciate him being outside the room a little bit And if I have something, I could go to him, and he's been great.
Do you have plans and then contingency plans for what will happen with David?
We always have plans, just like, the big reason why we cross-train guys. You never know what's going to happen. For the last few years, we've had injuries, and guys have been able to fill in. Elton Jenkins is the perfect example. We drafted him to play guard, and the next thing you know, he's playing center. Next thing you know, he's playing right tackle. Next thing you know, he's playing left tackle. So we're going to cross-train these guys. We're always going to have a plan to put the best 5 out there. And, injuries, I'm not going to talk about injuries, but they happen in this game. So when they do, we better be ready.
As of right now, how much do you expect to have David available for off-season workouts?
Well, David's here. If you guys didn't know, he's here. No, he's been around. He's been great with the young guys. He's been great with Elton. He's been great just mentoring these guys. And he's getting his workouts in, a little bit different, but he's getting his workouts in.
Hey, Luke, going back to, having Ryan and Ramson there, how's it been with having, because Ramson actually coached Sean, right? I think at UCLA a little bit, if I remember.
Yeah, he was on the defensive side of the ball.
Was he? Okay.
But yeah, he was there with Sean.
Yeah.
And then having Ryan, they've been great. They've been sponges. They've been awesome. It's great to have 3 guys in that room, and we all have our certain roles, but they're great.
How's it been sort of leading it, after working in that kind of assistant role with, at Steno for as long as
Well, yeah, I'm not puffing my chest out like Steno anymore. I'm pretty good with those guys. No, they've been great. It's being in front of the room again. It's a little different, right? You got to get your sea legs. The first time we had the guys in rookie mini camp, you're in front of the room for 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day. Instead of sitting behind the computer and then getting up and giving your presentation for 30 minutes. So it's just something that you get used to. And again, I've done it before in the college level, and it's nice to be in front of the room. But it's a collective effort in everything we do.